Greetings, everybody. How y'all doing today? So, today I'm gonna be talking about four things: fire, air, water, and earth. Somebody said, please tell me about ether or wood. I will, but I'm gonna deal with them four blocks. They call them the building blocks in chemistry, right? Now, if you're not aware of chemistry, chemistry is the offshoot, is the it's not even the sister, but it's the hybrid of alchemy. Okay, if you never heard of alchemy, it's something that you need to look into. Go to the library. I suggest you find it out for yourself, meaning clean slate. See, the problem with me, I come with a clean slate with everything. So technically speaking, I have no religion. I am spiritual. However, I do respect the scriptures that are in sync or in harmony and synchronicity and balance with that of the spiritual dimension. Now, when we look around, right, we all see spiritual dimensions. So, what the scriptures are supposed to do is refer us back into that spiritual dimension. So, for example, a lot of people say, there is no God, I am God, right? So that means automatically you are you are you are debunking the whole concept that there's a source that where you get your energy from. Like, we don't understand that we are composed of atoms, right? And these four building blocks that makes us, right? It's about fire, air, water, and earth, right? Now, when you think about it, air is something that we need. Fire is something that we need. Water is something that we need, and we are the embodiment of earth. Now, with that being said, you have to digest that. So, last night I was talking to a gentleman, as I do what I do, because I love doing Uber and Lyft and all of that. I do. I love getting to know people. I love traveling. I love to see new things. And like yesterday, I was in the park and I was talking about um, so-called this book by William Henry, right, called The Illuminati of Cloak. And it was talking about Nashville, which was interesting. The book actually talks about Nashville, which is interesting because it was going into the Christ consciousness. And when it goes there in the metaphysical dimensions, what people don't understand, you are the Christ, because Christ is a title. You might not be the name Jesus. Now, we have to think about that word, right? Because there was a historical person. See, the problem with people is that we get lost in the source. Okay? So the fact that there was a historical person, right? It doesn't mean that this person died for our sins. No. If it did, then there would be no sins. Right? The person didn't even die. That's the whole problem with most people who uh look forward to being a Christian, because they don't understand what it is to be Christ-like. Because the rulers that rule in that religion are the ones that's causing the problems. They misinforming, miseducating, misteaching, and everything like that. Even the book, right? The Bible is called the Helios Biblos, the Sun Book. So it's a book of fire. Okay, when it's spoken in the languages that it came from, it speak in the Abud, which we call Jewish, right? Jewish language, Hebrew language, right? Those are the aboards. Those are the fire language. Okay. Let me explain something to you if you don't know this. Y'all need to look this up. There's fire language, water language, earth language, and air language. Yes. So our ancestors back in the days once spoke all of them, right? But what happened was they became divided by the dark energy and the light energy. Because of the opposing forces of this contending forces of energy, right? I it gravi it what it did is that it brought us to a confrontational contending forces amongst ourselves. Now, me personally, I know I'm composed of atoms. I hope you know that you're composed of atoms. So, if we're both composed of atoms, how different are we? We're not that different, but it's that 1% that makes us different. This is also where we get the 1% from on the micro level of social economical situations. Why is that? Because we don't respect the four elements that are within us. See, we are composed of energy. And the fact that we allowed a few people to manipulate this energy like they're trying to manipulate the earth, right? That's our fault, each and every one of us. Some of us can hide, lie, deny, it doesn't matter. That's our fault because we don't study the four elements, or which are considered the four cardinal points or the four corners of the world or the news, north, east, west, and south. So by us not studying it, by us not traveling, a lot of us never travel outside of our country. A lot of us never travel outside our cities, outside of our counties, outside of our state. So there's a lot of people never did that. And when they do, they go to a specific location and they never check out the whole state. I know that people say it's timely and it's costly, right? Nothing is timely and costly because if you realize we are atoms, then there's no cost. See, a lot of people don't realize to be the boss, you don't have to have the cost to be the boss. You just be. That's it. There's no thing about it. If we realize what they have done, right? The 1%, they have harnessed our four elements: fire, air, water, earth, and ether per se. Harness that, right? Them four elements within us and have us enslaved by our own minds because we're not looking at the greater picture. And this is what the four elements about. The four elements is about transformation, transformation and transcending from the old way. So a lot of times you got to burn stuff. So people go, oh, the religion is wrong, this and that. So they burn it, right? There's a gentleman who adopted two ladies, right? And he abandoned the thing because he found out that it was all false. So there's a lot of blacks that's going strong about the conventional religions. But here's the question they never asked themselves: were they taught incorrectly? That's the whole thing because, like, if I read the Helios Biblos, known as the Sun Book, right? This is the only Sun Book I actually know. Now, the people who are giving out the Sun Book language can't take the sun. So that's an oxymoron right there because what they're going to do is they're going to show the sun, but they're going to show the sun called the black sun. So when you have the black sun, right, it doesn't burn them. Okay, so they can live in the sun. That's why they talk about blocking out the sun, because they want you to see the black sun. That's all spiritual too. But they metaphysically want that to happen in alchemy. So basically they want that to happen in what we considered reality to be. Okay, this is why they so much about the astros, and look at this, and we went to the moon, and now we got a drone on Mars and all of this. Now that's not true. If you study chemistry, that's not true. It's not even true. I don't know what people be smoking, but that's not true. I'm gonna tell you something. Like, okay, they figured, like, you gotta understand this, right? The reason for us being the way we are, chicken scared, right? Chicken scared. Chicken scared to come together. You know how many people I asked to come together, and I push this question, right? Let us come together. Let us pull our resources together. Let us do this. Let us do that. You know how many people actually say, "Come on, Lambert, I'm ready." I'm. You know what? I've been working with these people all my life, and I know you. So let me give you the same amount of years that I've been giving them. Maybe you might have the answer that you know what they say? They always say beauty is right underneath your nose, but you never know it because your head is up. Well, you never know it because you're looking at me and you're seeing the specks and the falseness and the insecurities and all of this. You're projecting that on me. Of course I have that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to deny that. I know how I talk, and I talk this way for a reason. All right. I made an oath with my grandma. Like I told people, I said, dude, when it comes to English, I already have an English honor plaque. Show me your shit. Right. So people but they don't believe me. Right. And I keep on showing these people this type of stuff. So I can, I basically fortify, like looking behind me. Right. You see it? You see it? It's an English honor society. So I try to tell people, like, dude, I'm about this life, man. And I want y'all to realize that what they have done to us as a people, as atoms, is pure chemistry, alchemy. When you study alchemy, right? You hear that word A-L, that means duh. Duh of what? Chemet, chemetic, right? Chemetic. All right, semantics. Okay, when you study this, you start to see, oh, snap. Check this out. Don't we have water in our body? Don't we have fire in our body? Don't we have air in our body? And don't we have earth in our body? We got wood in our body, and we got ether in our body. So we have all these elements in our bodies that's composed of this beautiful synchronicity of energy flowing, like the cosmos. But we are not acting like the cosmos. We're acting like selfish individuals who's only thinking of their well-beings and not thinking of the collective whole. And that comes from the dismantle of your spiritual self. Like, you don't realize that you can try to be antisocial as as much as you want to. However, you cannot run from society. Why? Because of the collective consciousness. You can only go but so far before society comes to you. So what's that's going to do? Every time you're going to run, where would you run sooner or later? Right? Because here's the deal with the creator in us. A lot of people say, I am God, right? Well, if you're God, then why we can't come together? You're a liar. I pump unity. I pump love. I pump this hard. Why? Because I'm over 50 something years old. I was I've gone through the shit. If you 30 years old, I done went through that with you. What you're talking about. If you're 40 years old, I done went with you with that. What you're talking about. If you're 50 years old, I got a few more years on that. I done went through that. What are you talking about? If you're 20 years old, I done went through that. What are you talking about? Let me tell you something. People have a funny way to try to express differences. So, for instance, I'm born in the 60s, right? And somebody's born in the 90s, right? They're going to tell me I don't understand about what's going on at that time, right? So, I don't know, you know, I don't know what's going on in their time, right? They must think that because I am a certain age, see, this is what is called ageism, okay? I have a degree in gerontology, by the way. So I'm very acute to certain things. So a lot of people, because they see the shell, they see the way I talk, they see the way I act, I keep it real. I'm not a faker to try to have people like me or not. Either you like me or you don't. And that's how it is now. And I'm starting to realize I don't care if you like me or you don't. All I worry, all I worry about is if you don't, how can we exist in this world without us killing each other? Now that's barbaric. To me, that's a very negative spirit. When you look at the world and you go, I remember Nature Boy talked about this, right? Well, of course, his name is something else now, call himself a prophet. He said nature itself is violent. So he's making a point in the case about violence. But he's letting you know that's a part of nature, destruction. It is. However, we are still different than that. We don't have to. That's the point. Hold on to your fire, your air, your water, your earth. Peace.